we want to spend a little bit of money to do a study on beef versus diabetes because we know the results are going to be. The people are going to have, they're going to go on an all meat diet or close to all meat diet. Their diabetes is going to go away. It's simple, and it takes all the confusion out. Because whenever you do, you hear all these dietary studies. It's like,
no fiber.
Oh, but he was eating hamburgers and French fries, and there's all this confounder. So it's like you can't really test it.
So it is hard to test things in nutrition because we can only test things for 3 months
at a time.
Or
not is to just put them on a damn carnivore and see what happens.
It's the only
That's
way to
not
test
the
it.
best
If you do
and
an
only way to
epidemiology
test it.
study and you don't account sugar,
randomized control trials can't go
Coca-Cola,
for more than 3 months, so that is tough. But why does it have to be only meat that cures it? Yes, there's a lot of people that say meat is bad, that it's not. So there's grains of truth in a lot of what they're saying, but they just take it so extreme.
Lasagna.
Yeah, that's what Harvard did recently. They didn't account for sugar intake when they said beef causes diabetes.
Calories.
You gotta be kidding me. You're not even counting sugar?
Not even counting sugar. That's because they're equating calories.
That's so crazy.
Right, but they get this published, and this is really bad science, and guys like John Anitis, who's one of the most cited scientists in the world, has basically said all this epidemiology we're doing, we're just wasting money. It's not telling us anything. This is all garbage. But they keep doing it over and over again because they generate headlines, the headlines they want. But anyway, back to this beef checkoff thing. So I said, hey, look, every year you award money, hundreds of thousands, tens of millions of dollars to promote beef. I said, let's get a little bit of money to do a research study on diabetes. And they literally said, no, we're not interested in doing that. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The beef industry is taking a beating right now.
I'd like to see the letter that he asked them. He probably asked him, hey, can we do an only carnivore diet? They're all for showing that meat is healthy, but I'm sure the guidelines that he asked for were absurd because
everybody wants to get rid of beef.
What the people that, this only carnivore having no fiber in your diet is absurd.
And, it's going to kill you. It's going to give you cancer, which all of it's just largely nonsense. And this is
it's not going to give you cancer.
This type of study would clearly demonstrate that not only does beef not cause diabetes. In fact, I talked to the CEO of the NCBA 2 years ago. I sat down. I presented in front of the California Cattlemen's Association, and literally
of course
the president
it
of the
doesn't
association
cause.
Said, I went on a carnivore diet and cured my diabetes. It's like, yeah, it's clear.
Why not go on a lot of meat and then have some vegetables with fiber also, and then cut out the excess calories, right? It doesn't have to be so extreme.
And the guy said, yeah, I get it. We're going to help you out. We're going to get this going. I heard nothing from these guys. So what I think's going on is the USDA kind of oversees all these checkoffs. And they just kind of say, look, you can't say that because we want to promote, because again, they have all these processes.
The USDA, if anything, they're not paid off to get science done like people think they are. I know they think that's the truth.
They're on the board, and they're like, if we promote this one food and people stop eating all this processed food, right? Yeah. Then what are we going to do? We're going to lose a lot of money. You think about it, not that I'm advocating that everybody go on a carnivore diet, because I don't think it's necessary for one.
There's some wisdom.
If you significantly cut back on all this people can.
So, no, they're not saying.
Garbage. What does that do economically to this country? You think about how much money is spent on garbage food, the drugs that are needed to treat that. You're talking.
It's not some big cabal where they're all in cahoots and they're trying to get you to eat processed junk food. That is just not the case. Junk food is cheaper. Meat, fatty meat it's somewhat problematic.
We spend
not really problematic.
$4.3 trillion a year on healthcare in this country, and what do we get for it? We got one of the sickest populations in the world. Our life expectancy is going down.
Calories.
Everybody's fat. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's on drugs. It's crazy.
It is crazy, and it's crazy that they don't look to diet as being the primary cause of that. Or
because you can only study diet for 3 months because of Nuremberg, right? You can only have a randomized control trial with diet fully controlled for 3 months, so we don't know. That's the trade-off, right, for ethics.
Look to these epidemiology studies that don't take into account exactly what you're eating with the meat. Why is it meat that's always demonized?
That is
I think for a number of reasons. One, if you go back.
It's a huge question. People demonize meat all the time because it is people who eat more meat are associated with, smoking, doing all kind of other behaviors. But when you account and control for those,
it's
not unhealthy.
This was formed literally by Seventh-day Adventists. So that from the very, very beginning, the creation of the nutrition science field, these Seventh-day Adventists who are, religiously vegetarian.
I was unaware of this Seventh-day Adventist
Parents,
thing,
you go
but
back
yes,
to
the whole
the Kellogg's
religious
brothers, John Harvey
diet
Kellogg,
thing.
where they had
Diet is
their,
very
you know,
religious.
circumcising females and saying we can't eat meat because it's going to make you have sex,
Association
make you have lust
fallacy.
and masturbate. This is all like this religious.
Yeah, I'm sure they did horrible things back then, and they also had, that's not good ideas about.
man, it
There's
got-
grains of
People
truth to
don't
the
know
fact
that,
that if
but
you
they
eat
should know
vegetables,
that he
then
developed
you
this
might not
cereal, this
overeat.
bland
So that's where it
cereal,
comes
to
from.
discourage masturbation, which is one of the wildest things I have ever heard.
Yeah, that guy was a wacko, man. He was in there
Wild dude.
He was giving himself like high pressure enemas every day. It was just like fucking 20 gallons a minute enemas because he thought that was
Really?
something. Yeah, he was a wacko. He was a really nutty guy. You read about some of his stuff.
20
People can
gallon enemas.
believe
It was some ridiculous,
incorrect
like,
things in
super
one
high
field
capacity,
and be
like a
doing
super
one thing
soaker
in
on
another. I don't know
steroids.
anything about internal
Are enemas
combustion.
bad for you? Because I've always wondered if your internal gut
So, meat is not bad for
is
you.
important, and it is. Isn't that getting washed out?
I think to some degree it is. I don't know that anybody's really looked at it from that angle, but
There's no normative values for gut health.
I think
even.
in
It's
some
just
cases,
new.
like some people's got some problems with constipation, it can be helpful, but I don't think it's generally a healthy practice for most. But I know there's people that are like putting weird stuff up their butt. Man, it's just kind of like
Yeah, no idea
I
I
what
think it
to
probably
say
feels
about
good.
that.
Get flushed out.
It might.
But also makes